This is the island of Lanzarote. It is part of the Canary Islands, which are owned by Spain. It's about three-quarters the size of Kauai. And Arrecife is the main city on Lanzarote. Not that big, but it's just the big city. Interesting fact, the Canary Islands have two capitals. It seems that back in the old days, the Canary Islands were actually two provinces owned by Spain. And eventually became only one province, but two cities claim to be the capital: Santa Cruz on the island of Tenerife and Las Palmas on the island of Gran Canaria. How well that works, I've not heard. 13 islands in the Canary Archipelago, but only 8 are occupied by human beings. And everyone wants to know why they named these islands after a bird. Well, they didn't. At least that's what the historians say. Canary has its roots in Canarias, which refers to dogs, island of the dogs, and check out their coat of arms. As you can see, we are close to the African continent, just 75 miles across from the territory known as Western Sahara. Western Sahara is a bit interesting. It's a contested country. About 20% of the territory is controlled by the self-proclaimed Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, and the rest of it is controlled by Morocco. You needed to know that, right? Only one airline flies between the Canary Islands and Morocco. Binter, a Spanish airline. Don't know how they got in there, but they did. Seems that Morocco disputes the ownership of the Canary Islands, so if the very few Binter flights don't suit your fancy, then you have to fly to Portugal or some other country and then come back down to Morocco. So a couple of days ago, we took a little trip to the northern part of the island and came across this interesting beach. They've taken these lava rocks and made individual little kind of like cubby holes or cubicles where you can go in, put your tent up in your chairs and sit there all day and have your kind of little private home away from home. These are the folks that are members of the church, Carol and Martin Lamb. And they were our guides for the day. And so here's this really interesting beach here. When the water washes in, there's this little area here where the sun really heats it up, and it's quite warm, actually. And people are out just wandering around in it and having a good time. Some of the scenery from that particular beach. There's Martin and Carol again out enjoying themselves, catching a little bit of sun and some of that nice warm water on their feet. And we came across an old, I guess it used to be a monastery, we were told, and it has since become a winery. And one of the calderas of one of the volcanoes here on Lanzarote. This is the northernmost part of the island, and out there you can see another island right next to us. It's called La Graciosa. There are two little villages over there. You can get over there by ferry and do a lot of hiking and walking around, things like that. Some really nice beaches in there, and they've got a marina with lots of boats and just a beautiful water in between the two there. So then last night we drove down to the part of our little town that has some really nice beaches, and we stopped at the Farallones Hotel, where I actually had a wedding earlier in the day today, and walked around there and looked at that. Just a really fancy 5-star hotel right on the beach. And the wedding was down here to the left, overlooking this fine beach here, just where you can see that umbrella at the end of the walkway there. That's where we had the wedding today, and then a really nice beach there. And then we came across this really nice fine dining restaurant on the beach. They have kind of an indoor area there, and then you can also eat out on the sand, have your tables and your drinks, and I'm not sure whether you can eat meals out there or not. And this is part of the walkway. There's a huge boardwalk that goes for a mile from one end of the island to the other. You can ride bicycles or walk if you're up for it. And that's the boardwalk there. It just continues on forever. And just really beautiful area down here. Our little town. And if you're not up for bringing your own umbrella and beach chairs and all that good stuff, then various businesses have these little chaise lounges with umbrellas over them, and you can rent those during the daytime. There's a really nice, another fine dining restaurant right on the ocean there. And yes, they have a casino, no smoking allowed. And we came across this poor, dilapidated structure, one of the only ugly ones along the beach, I guess just waiting for a new owner. And here's some more of those beach chairs that you can rent. Getting towards dusk here, along the boardwalk. And finally, the view from our living room window and the back terrace of our city at night with all the pretty lights. We're up on top of a hill, obviously, too.